Yeah, we are live. So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Rafai Mustafa, and I have with us Caleb Adewole. Um, excuse me. Um, Caleb is um, one of the interesting people I've been following on LinkedIn um, for a while. I've always been reading his code about interesting things that he has been building. So today, there are some what he's been working on and how he works on them. In this session, our goal is to learn about careers and the decisions he makes about building things. So let's just give Caleb the floor to talk about himself for a while. So Caleb, you have the floor.
Okay. Hello everyone. Hello, Mustafa. Yeah. My name is Caleb. Uh, I I am a Nigerian. Okay, for the speakers that are not from Nigeria. Well, I'm from Nigeria, and then I work as a backend engineer for fintech companies. At least for most part of my experience, I have worked as a backend engineer. I also finished as a computer engineering graduate. Things I like to do. I like playing guitar, singing, and recently I like gymming, kind of. So that's one of the few things about me. So I think, can I? Is that all? Can I proceed, or is there need more information?
Yeah, that's a good start. That's a good start. So I think the first time I heard about you, um, I spoke at one conference in Abuja, um, and then do you know Astro?
Yeah. All right, team lead.
Yeah. So he also spoke at the conference, and then he was talking about Podium and all the things that you guys are building, etc. So that's when I learned about Podium. So when I now saw your post, and now I was able to relate Podium, you,
Okay.
Astro, like that.
Uh,
All right, let's get right into it. So,
all right.
our session today um, came about in just 1 week. I think from last week, Wednesday, last week, Friday, Thursday, till today that we are presenting. So, you made an interesting post about Hercules and some of the things that you have built with it, right? And then this week too, you
All right.
also mentioned like the way you were testing it with live videos and stuff like that. So I think we should just start our conversation from there. Just introduce us to what Hercules is and how it works.
Okay. So, brief introduction to how I actually started working on that project. So I think a while back in my final year, I had to like come up with a project, which is like to build a telemedical platform whereby people can have meetings. So you know, what happens is that they don't prepare you to read research papers, right? You're always just told, okay, just go ahead, find the papers, build something out of it, and then in like few weeks time. So after my graduation, I just thought about it. Why not take like maybe a couple of years to learn how things work actually. So meanwhile, you have to also have a source of income. So meanwhile, I had to like work. So also figure out, okay, how do I schedule my time and all this. So in between those, like within those time, I started reading data intensive application like DDI text. Then I read a couple of other books. I took courses with a popular Indian engineer that works in Google. You probably seen his post. Harpreet took his course. So well, it was ridiculous at the time because going by conversion rate, the amount was a lot. So but I took it. I wanted to like peek into the brains of how big tech engineers work. So okay, so I discovered, okay, I think while going to school, curiosity level went down because there was nothing to be curious about, at least when I was in the university. So although by that time I was already doing internship working, so I already had experience of writing code, how the companies work. But then I was not really getting that feel of okay, uh, that passion of building stuff. So therefore, I decided, okay, let me take a couple of years back. So I picked up a couple of research papers to read, and the first one I picked up was MapReduce. So I was searching for I because I read the distributed designing distributed no designing data intensive application text. So MapReduce. I saw uh, distributed file systems. Then there are a couple of people that mentioned, okay, these are the projects you should work on. But the thing is that those projects, there's nobody to explain it to you. You have to figure out how to break it down. And to do that, that means you have been building some projects before, right? And at the same time, these are projects that are not medium level. They are probably written by like 4 or 5 different set of people. So I decided, okay, well, if I will go crazy, this will rather be the time to go crazy. So I picked up MapReduce. I learned Golang at that time, so I picked up MapReduce. I played around with RPC. So MapReduce was the first project I picked. It was the first approach was quite simple, rather simple. It was just using channels, and channels are like primitive types in Golang. So why did I pick Golang at that time? It was simple. At least it could get you up to speed to do something. I didn't want to deal with the whole essence of using Java or using C++. I'm quite familiar with this language. For a start, I like C, so it was not much of a problem. But yeah, it was slow. So I picked up Golang. I studied I had to go through the Golang programming language. I'm just giving you like a background knowledge so that you get to where the actual thing start from. So then I
It
picked
makes
up,
sense.
yeah. So I picked up the Go programming language textbook. I like learning from old guys, like really old guy, Ken Thompson. So I like picking their brains. So I figured out that most of the things that we use now was built based on fun projects, just like side projects that they worked on and they brought it into the company. So okay, how do I make sense of that? So I need to do something that makes me happy. At the same time, go to the company and I also work. So I figured that one out. Then I broke down after learning the language. I picked up. I watched a couple of videos from MIT. You probably have seen those videos. They are on distributed system. I checked that a couple. I could not finish it. I think I stopped at Zookeeper, but I got the idea. Uh, and the idea was okay. You can't stay like in a dormant state. You have to keep moving, keep learning stuff. Over the years, if you tend to like reduce your efforts to learn new stuff, you start growing still kind of old. Yeah. So I picked up curiosity, increase always increases your curiosity. So I picked up the book, then I went into the GFS. I saw the GFS paper. I read it for the first time. Was not sorry for using that word, but it was like crazy. I could not like understand what was going on. So I I have a particular jotter that I used. I think it's somewhere around this place. I wrote as much as possible. I still have like blog posts that I can also show. I think can I share my screen? Is it possible? I think it's
Yes, you can share
possible.
your screen.
I think it's possible.
So you will see ability to share screen. Yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay. I think this is. Uh, so I had. Okay. Let me find one of them. I think I can just show you some a part there. I was going to show you it a while back, and I saw that I did a couple of stuff that I didn't even remember I did there. So, uh, So this was I was looking for a page there. Not this. This one. I thought I saw it last time. I checked. Come on. Oh, this is reputation. Sorry, I think I have another one. So I have a page here. I think I saw it out yesterday. I can't remember the last time. But well, I have a jotter whereby I drew sequences of how they communicated, the servers communicated with each other, right? So an example is this kind of video. So this is just the digital version. So I took time to like go through it. Then AI, it made it easy. So I took the AI, like took like the PDF. I think Adobe just released their AI model at that time. So I was able to like chat with it. Okay, what do they mean by this one? How will it be implemented? Then I left that particular page and I went over to ChatGPT to get like structures, and then I picked up like couple of GitHub uh, um, and GitHub GFS implementation. So, okay, so I think there are like a couple of them that came up, like, but then I checked and I saw like, okay, what did people work on? What did they do? Sorry, I'm just showing like you can see like some people worked on some things, but they didn't really
Yeah,
do it the way the paper talks
paper
about
said.
it. So I was like, well, what can go wrong? So I saw like a couple of like two people from Princeton University. They worked on GFS. They worked
Okay.
in a similar. So my own version is just an advanced, like way more advanced version of what they did. I was able to
Yeah.
get like some concept for them. So and the reason why I'm talking about this is because it helps you see that it's not as if I built it from scratch. I had to learn
Right.
from what other people have done, and then I
Yes.
can maybe have a better understanding about how it works. So then I started my project, which was 2 years back. So that was the first time I actually pushed the first repo. I think I have it here. Uh, so it was like 2 years ago. It was crazy. I had to work overnight because of like think you can. I think the first you see, you can see it's 2 years ago. So I had to work overnight, thinking, asking some of my friends questions, like pondering back on it. It was not a one-way conversation because now this is a top. This kind of problem is a problem that involves multiple servers. So you are not acting as one server, which is something that everybody's used to. So now
Yeah.
so you are talking in terms of uh okay, uh server A is talking with server B. They want to like share. Somebody wants to post a file, or like which is like they want to write a file. Because most of the work in this system involves a write and a read. Regardless of how you see it, it's always a write and a read. So the sequence might just be different, and that is quite stressful because now you're working in a domain whereby you've never actually experienced before. You have to figure out a way to explain things to yourself. So I think let me just open. I think let me see if I have TFS here. Uh, sorry, share this one. Okay, so this is the page. This is the these are how much I read.
That's a research paper. You were
That's
highlighting it.
yeah. So this is not the only one. I had it printed out. I had to
Okay.
write inside it, right at every single corner that I could find my hands on. So this is just like before I actually printed it out because it was quite crazy. So then I had to like study each of the sequence, like apart from having like several examples I could read online, I had to pick out like things that actually matter to me, and things that I would like to work on. So an example of such is, okay. So I know I can't explain the whole idea of GFS here. So but I'm trying to like limit it down to how to think about building the project. I'll still go back to actually picking the project. So I won't forget that.
No problem.
So I'm just talking about like how I started picking out the way I want to build a project. I went about picking. So something to notice, you go about, you search for projects which are not easy, because when you pick a project that is easy for you, then you're not actually doing anything. You pick a project
Yeah, you're
that's
not
hard,
right.
that will challenge you, that you know that at the end of the day you will like it, but you feel like, did I actually build this thing? So
You bring
that's how to like
craftsmanship.
improve yourself. So then after picking the project, some of these things were just like created last year, because I only worked on components. What are the components? If you go to the paper tells you and hint about things. It is now left for you to now try and understand. And there's something called first principle. Understanding things from first principle. Like this, you go deep down into the roots and start picking out what's important, what's not important, like till you get to what, like till you get to the exact thing you want to build, right? So now, picking out a project, like I said, you can break it down into things like simple, medium, and hard, right? So in my own scenario, in my own situation, I I can only pick medium and hard, right? Medium is easy for me. Hard is actually very difficult, right? So if you are a beginner, especially in like Africa, like African countries, AI is like prevalent now. I will not suggest you use AI, right? So you have to build it. But if I me like in the medium stage, you could pick up like you could pick up a project like photo gallery, like uh, what else can I mention? Okay, like QR code encoding, like how to actually build QR code or something like graphics. You could pick out those kind of projects, because then they challenge you with math. They challenge you to with different things like, okay, math, maybe math, working on data, like how to actually maybe normalize data, database related stuff. Those are mid-level stuff. Add project will be building something like BitTorrent, because that's another domain. Building BitTorrent, building compilers, interpreters, those are art projects, right? So back to what I was saying before. From my own point, my own level, I can only see that building art projects will be the way forward for me, right? Which is like I'm not in my comfort zone. So that's why I picked GFS. And it is something that is quite familiar to me because I use file system every day, right? And it is like, it's just like I have a computer, like a computer rather, and then I want to manage my files, but now they are on like several like mansions, and I still want to organize them the same way. That's the whole idea. So if you remember, I said first principle, right? So that means the whole idea of GFS is boils down to just a simple file system which allows you to manage different files, but it's just in a looking at it in a different level. It's like just on multiple machines, and you want to organize it, right? That's the way to think about it in that scenario. So I think picking up project, I've mentioned the way to group yourself, the way to like pick a project by categorizing the type of project you want to pick, right? I'm trying to still stay on point here. So I've related that into my own experience about picking up Achilles to like build it. I just named it Achilles actually, but the whole idea is a distributed file system. So and it came from just a paper, which is something that existed before. Ideas are not new. They've been mentioned. Even the AI we use now are known. They are actually built upon previous like experiments that people have worked on. So you can always make something better. So I think did I cover the how to pick a project? Oh, uh,
Yeah,
can
perfectly. And
I,
you did a lot of interesting job. So thank you very much for that. In fact, sharing your screen also helped me to visualize and make sense of the idea of how you have picked it, how you were researching what other people are doing, and the solution that they are providing. That one particularly about you enrolling for data structures class and then checking out solution for Kristen. So it makes sense. I really get that point, and it makes sense how you have approached it. So one thing that piqued my interest right now is that you said you have been working on it for about 2 years, and I know
yeah.
that obviously you have work versus this project that is supposed to stretch you. So typically, if somebody is supposed to build this out, would it take that long, or do you have any preliminary knowledge gap that you needed to bridge before you started working on this?
Okay, like I said, like I've been coding for a while, right? So it's not like I just I'm a beginner or something and I jumped on it. So and I have like some experience building things for companies that I've even got like skilled a lot. You get so from experience, this is more like just a challenge, a relatively okay, just let me do this because I have not actually written something difficult before in a while. So that's in my own experience. So if I'm going to answer that question, how do I do like work? So my work is like so I try to find work for people that understand that the result of what I do at home, I bring it back into the business, right? Because if I'm working for you, I'm supposed to give you value, right? For your I'm supposed to bring like to the business more value, right? So I can only do that if I can if and this is something that is not common in Nigerian companies, right? Expect you to just build for them and you build for them alone, right? Google started as a research, like a research team. They started in a garage, right? So if you remember, these are things that are not being appreciated again. So they just want you get paid, you and the funny thing is that they just give you like ticket and all this stuff. You build for them. When you get back to your own place, you might not actually do because you probably are like tired and there is no borderline to time limits in a typical like Nigerian startup, right? Um, we hope that it's better, but like current situation dictates that it's not like that, right? So now, if we say that okay, your work doesn't allow you to build stuff, then I would suggest that you either discuss with your manager or you discuss with your team lead, right? To find a way to allow you people to like allow your team. So, like you said, you've already seen Astro before, right? Uh, the way I work with Astro is like we work like a relatively simple like little team, and we have like products that actually like have made a lot of money, right? So it is based of just what you put back into the work that you are actually doing outside is as a result of what you've done in your own private life, right? So I would say find the balance. I can't dictate for people like how the balance exists, right? Uh, you have to find one, and when you do find that one, make sure that if you've read the book called Ikigai, the book, right? There's a book Ikigai. I think it's Ikigai, Japanese word, right? Ikigai. I don't know. I've never actually checked it. It dictates that you can how to
No, I think that's
find you
correct.
can
It's Ikigai, yeah.
yeah. So you find it means that you have to find fulfillment in the work that you do, right? Japanese tend to do that a lot. You can see that in their animes and all stuff. So you go back, you pick a project that will challenge you. From that challenge, you see that some of the things they give in your office are just like relatively simple things, right? and you might before you might take like 3 days, and now you see that it's just 1 day, and that's because you've actually challenged yourself to do some other things, right? Okay, so I think did I answer that question?
Yes,
Okay,
perfectly. Thank you very much. That
all right,
makes sense.
all right.
Yeah. So we can move to how did you actually build this thing? What and then apart from this one, did you try any other research paper?
Yeah, I'm reading one at the moment. I didn't just show that one. So now it's off of this one. So like all these projects, they still have end goal, right? It is for like if I get to like talk with people again, then I can show off my work. Like yeah, if you read the book, show your work off something. There's a book like that by I think Todd Cloud or something. I get to show off a bit. It might not look like nice, but it gives me at least something to like. I worked on something, right? It's good. So uh, the book I'm currently. Let me just show you some things that I'm doing right at the moment. I have a book on. This is something I intend to work on, but I don't know what I want to work on. I don't know the language I want to build it in at the moment. I'm thinking Rust. How to challenge myself. So I'm thinking Rust at the moment. I've not settled on that language because I kind of don't like the community. Sorry to say, I kind of don't like the community. I like the language, I don't like the community. But but then I have Zig also, but Zig doesn't have some components that I actually need, and that might take a while to actually build it. I can pull it off some other people's work. For example, Zig, I can go to Tiger B2 and steal some things out of their work to use for my own work because they've done it. So that's another way to build the project. Stealing doesn't mean stealing doesn't mean that I stole it. I just pulled from the idea and I used it. So um, I don't repeat yourself like you see. They've worked on it. They have a solution. I can pick it. So this is a book. This is a paper that I'm currently reading. It's from Google, right? So the idea is that I want to pick into that. There's a page that I created on WhatsApp that allows people to just get like I just pick random papers and I post them. Doesn't mean that I read all the papers, but it means that I see something interesting there. I put it there. When I put it there, I put it there for myself, and I also put it there for people, right? So uh, the page shows you like I dropped a there's a paper that says how to read research paper. I dropped it on that page too. I can research. I think there's a. I don't know if I can write paper, but I think I can find it. I hope I can. So I, I should be able to find it, but I don't think I can. Maybe it's this. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. So it's this book. So this is the paper. Tells you how to read a research paper, which is not something everybody teaches. Like they are not going to teach you that thing. They might not even point you to this paper, right? So this paper tells you that you should do it in three passes, right? The first one is just a brief overview about what the paper is about. You want to know the components that are available in the paper, the components that people worked on, right? You want to quickly have an idea about that. Sorry, can you still hear me? Don't know. My audible. Hello. Uh, can anyone hear me? I don't
Yes,
know.
I'm here with you.
Okay, so this paper is going to like tell you how to read the paper. Like, okay, you read it the first pass. The second pass is so that you highlight the important things that are in that paper. There is a noise component in the paper, and there are like information components in the paper. So you have to improve your skill on how to like strip out the noise and I isolate the important things in the paper, right? Then you can now start like identifying things you want to build on, right? So this is a paper that tells that gives an instruction on it. So after that, then you pick up your language. You have to go through like which language you want to use, why it's good for this project, why it will help you solve the problem better, right? And what you will learn from it. So picking up a language can also help you to like learn a new language, right? And can also help you to like understand some fundamental like new things that you've not actually worked on before. For example, there's some languages that don't provide you locks and mutex. There's some languages that are like single threaded, but their concurrency model is kind of different. So that's what this will help you to do. So when you do that and you've identified, and then you can now start building the project. And you can start by building something simple or just identifying components that you want to work on. For example, I will for RPC, I will just work on maybe like I will work on the server itself, which is just like okay, how do I start an RPC server? So once I've done with the RPC server and how to like get how to create a connection on that server, and I can now think about okay, what are those components that I want to build? Because compared to the HTTP server, RPC just works like function based. You can just build a struct or a class and you can use it as an RPC server. So you start from the simplest thing to the complex one bit by bit. And then once you are done with that, you can now start refactoring your code. And I think the more you refactor your code, the better. Because then you start identifying things that you did wrong. And okay, I won't leave out the fact that you can now use AI. But the best thing is that you've started the code base, right? And once you've done that, you can now apply AI when you are close to the final stage of the project. So that you can identify problems and issues that you did not like see when you were starting the project. Uh, did that answer the question? And I think I probably might have digressed, but I hope I did not.
No, no,
Uh,
you didn't actually. You
is that
covered a lot
is
of
that
things about.
is that
I said you didn't digress, like you actually covered a lot of ground.
okay? So now, if I will go to
And
the
yeah,
part of the code, right? I still want to share. I want to like share the code to like explain some things that I did there.
yeah, please go ahead.
So, although I will admit I don't do front end, so AI did that. I was just the pilot. I don't do front end. Kind of quit front end like maybe 7 years back. So, first thing is this is like in there's if you remember it's GFS, it's called file system, right? Can you hear me?
Yes,
So the first thing I did was use a
yes,
file
I can
system.
hear
Yeah, let me be. So I read in the book that it's still a file system. It makes use of the same Linux API system, right? The like Linux file system that you can create a file, you can delete a file, right? It's the same
you. Yeah,
create, read, update, and delete, right? CRUD. It's just
yeah,
like a CRUD app, right? So then I just went ahead and I implemented a wrapper around the normal file system. And then I just said, okay,
okay,
this file system should have a root, right? And then I made sure that the file system had the root, like there's a root to the file system. Because all your
yeah,
file system will always have a root, like the least you can't go beyond that part, right? So I did that. Maybe I've done since I've done that. So the next thing I had to do was okay, implement uh, what I call like the chunk and the master server. That part was quite tricky because it was not easy to understand. Like I said, it was those days whereby I think I almost went crazy because I was talking in two-way, in two-way street, kind of. I talked a lot at that point. So we have a master server, right? So the paper also mentioned like having something called I'll just use the best this thing like a single thing to explain what the paper talk about. The paper talks about having a namespace, right? And namespace is like on a normal day, your normal files system has a like a folder structure, right? And since you are
yeah,
going to be dealing with multiple servers, right? Which is multiple
yeah,
machines. If you read the abstract of the paper, you get that the idea was to have like multiple machines that can be replaced often and at low cost, and you can manage them and still have like backup durability replication, right? uh, the the idea is that okay, you need a place to know the hierarchy of each of the files that you created, right? If you create a folder called photo and you store another folder inside it, you have to have a place that tells you a path to like every part of the file that you've created, right? So
Hmm?
now the master server, yeah, you said.
I said I'm getting you.
Yeah, so the master server does that coordination, right? And the master server is the coordinator for these kind of things. So the master server has its own file system, and has the reason why it has its own file system is because of it needs to keep track of metadata of like storage of metadata of because you have to store like information of the location of each of the files that you created on different servers. So you have to do that. And also the master server has something called a failure detector. I'll talk if I had the chance I will have talked about that, but I don't think I'm going to cover that. Yeah, that's another paper. You can check it out. It's called Phil Acura, no, Fire Acura failure detector, which is a failure detector that doesn't use zero, it doesn't use true and false. It uses like probability to like um, detect whether a server is going to fail based on the past event that's happened, past
Yeah.
heartbeats that have happened. That's the simplest information I can give on that. So you can check that particular, check that particular one out. So like also now, so because you are going to be dealing with multiple servers as like the servers that manage each chunk. The book mentions something very important, which is sorry, call you later. I'm coming. I had an incoming call, so I'm coming. Let me, sorry.
No problem.
Uh, yeah. So, so sorry, I lost my track here. So the book mentions something called chunk servers, right? The chunk servers are able to, you have like a very big file. Let's say you're dealing with something like, I used to use this example. Captain Jack Sparrow, right? Is a very large file, 75. Let's say 1 gig file. It's a 1 gig file, which is quite large. So it won't make sense to store a 1 gig file on different machines, right?
No, at all.
So now it makes sense to break down that 1 gig file into like several chunks, right?
Yeah.
So if you intend to make something like Facebook, sorry, I said Facebook, YouTube, right? You will not really create sorry, you will not really create like a you won't create like a 1 gig file on each of the servers or each of the machines that YouTube is running. You have to create like a way to distribute those files in bits out and assemble them back together when the client is demanding them, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, the master server has something called the chunk manager. The chunk manager is just a representation of uh, simple information about the chunk that the chunk a chunk is just a file that is 64 MB. Do you understand that? Like
Yeah. Yeah,
I was so the chunk server is in charge of that. It's just in charge of storing that file and giving it back to the master to the client when the client asks for it, right? Now the master server
yeah.
is in charge of directing each chunk server the particular chunk they are handling, and is in charge of replication, damage connection. You get, I'm trying to like explain this thing as fast as I can. It's quite large.
I completely
So
get the idea.
yeah. So now
I can,
so the information between the chunk server and the information shared between the chunk server and the master
yeah.
server happens during the heartbeat. So each time it's just like I'm saying, "Are you alive?" And somebody's telling me, "Yes, I'm alive." Okay, send me the information about every data that you've collected a while back. And then I'll say, okay, this one, the master server is going to say, okay, this is the garbage, and this is the ones that okay, this one needs replication. This one doesn't need replication. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So all the information that I'm giving here happens for things like Paxos, all these things. That's the same way they kind of like communicate. You just need to like read the paper and understand them, and then and understand it very well before you go to go and write it, right?
I,
Same thing for like you said.
I said I get you. I get.
Yeah, so that's just how distributed system works. It's just more about how to organize the communication between two machines, like more than two machines, in a way that it is reliable. And if you remember, there's something called Caption, right? Consistent, available, I think availability, and what's the last one? Can't remember. Maybe performance or something. I can't remember. Yeah. So, and then there's something being always discussed, which is serializability, like how linear. How can you make the communication that is APASA look like it is linear? So that's what those are the things that you pick up from this. Like it helps you understand those kind of topic when you now read them.
I get. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Sorry. Did you get that?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I get the idea of what
Yeah. So
you.
okay, you're going to ask something.
Yeah, I was thinking that the way you when you implement it, you bring a lot of those concepts into reality that you can now understand why those concepts are needed for the implementation.
Yes. Yes. Exactly that. So now, then you also from that you also learn like how to like build things in Pit. Building things in Pit is quite hard because you are the only person doing it. If it's like multiple people, now it's easy because then you are talking, and like as I'm talking to you, I can be doing something, and then you can be doing your own, and we just test that they are actually going to be in sync, right? Uh, sorry, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So that's the difficult part of this project. The easy part is just trying to understand that paper very well. You might have to read because as you start learning, you might have to read the paper like maybe 5 times or more than 5 times before you even get an understanding of it. And then
Okay.
that's the reason why I said you have to find a balance between your office work and also this type of project, right? uh, if you don't have like a job, this can be something you can do, except you have interviews and then you go for your interview and come back and build it. Because working on something like this can be something that differentiates you between every of the people that is applying for that particular job, right? Uh,
Somebody that question.
Somebody asked a
The person
question.
is
Okay.
saying, yeah, says that how do you go from building prod system to all these kind of complex systems that you are doing, right?
Okay, so like I said, I broke down projects into three phases, right? Easy, medium, and hard, right? So if you are just, I would like if the person is fairly comfortable with crowd system, right? Then
Yeah.
the person should pick up more difficult crowd system, and I mean in type of more difficult crowd system like event driven system, right? They are still crowd system,
Okay.
but like they
Yeah.
are like hard to build or something like WebSocket.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or you work on things like core system. The person can also pick up like polling, which is also
Yeah.
difficult because then polling is hard. Or something like webhooks, building something related to webhooks, right? Those things are hard. It's just every time you work on a project and you feel you gain a lot from that project, you can find a little bit difficult project than that project, and from that you
Yeah.
start growing. The point is that you don't want to do the same crowd and build like five same crowd projects and say, okay, I'm a full stack engineer. You know that the way people give themselves names. Yeah.
Yes.
So people, I don't claim to be what I'm not. I try as much as possible not to do that. So if I can do something, I'll tell you I can do it. If I cannot do it, I'll tell you I cannot do it now, but I will learn how to do it. Right. So
Okay.
if you are building crowd system, just find a little bit more difficult crowd system project. And there are quite like a lot. I can give you like links to that. You can just send a message. I can give you links to that. Uh, Apart from that, you can pick up books that are something like something that doesn't actually have to do with CRUD. CRUD is just the simplest thing you can build in programming. It's just like the thing you should do daily. So it's just I'll say like it's just step by step. I can't really say I have answered that person's question, but I would like to answer it like later on. You can drop me you can ask a question in my LinkedIn like message. I will answer you. Uh, is that fair enough?
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
All
Thank you
right.
very much. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
the final question to wrap up. So like you have like uh, in your experience now, I mean the reality of things about AI and how it affects software development in today's world. What's your own view or opinion on it? AI that are writing code, codecs and all those stuff.
yeah. So while I'm impressed with AI, yes, I'm impressed with AI. I would still like to say that when it does not work, it is because the person behind the AI doesn't know what it's doing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the reason why you see, sorry, I can't give a
Sorry,
minute.
sorry, sorry. Yeah,
So the reason why you see these beautiful things that are being built with AI is because the people that are working on it know exactly what they are doing,
yes,
right? So if you think about it, is predictive, works on data, right?
yeah.
So uh, you can. There is no way to. Sorry,
Sorry, sorry,
kind
sorry.
of small why. So there's no way to actually predict the output, right? And the best way you can
Yeah,
limit the output that AI gives you is by understanding what exactly you want to do. There are days
yeah,
when
that's
by
true.
I use AI in the like in the company, and I don't write any code. I know what exactly I want to do. I highlight the exact line I want the AI to work on,
Yeah,
and I will tell it exactly what to do, and it will do it. Right? I don't need to write line of code. The problem starts with when you have a new project and you want to build it.
okay.
AI is good in existing code base, right?
Yeah,
So you probably have heard about things like skill. I think I just saw it recently, like people building skills and giving it to agents, right?
yeah,
So what I think those skills would be like, so I'm not really into much of AI right now because I feel it's still going to boil down to those people that understand core concepts rather than those people that just want to use AI.
that's true. A lot of the AI itself is being built by people and it's not
Yeah,
people that will maintain
yeah. I think Tovad Linux Tovad recently used it. He said it was good, and the reason why he says it was good is because there was something he didn't want to work on, and he just wanted to like ship it off to the AI to do, and he knew exactly what to tell the AI to do it. Like he has already written it. He used it on something that he already wrote to just make it
yeah,
better.
that
Yeah. So you are starting a new project. You have not like organized the way you want the project to be, right? And you started using AI. That's going to be a shitty project. So
that
so so I will encourage you to use AI, but at the risk of not relying too much on it, because then you have to still keep your skill. You have to still learn something. Business we want to move fast. Yeah, that's how they do it. They want more money. Uh, the product has to grow, right? But there's
Yeah,
this thing that will help you, which is the value that you can provide, right? You can't provide
yeah,
value when you go on a decline. You have to either like increase or you go on a decline. So the more you rely on AI, the less you might not even improve. It depends on how much you read you get now. Because a lot of these things you still do like code reviews for the AI. So if you don't know how to do code reviews very well to show that point, right?
yeah. It is very,
Yeah.
very
So
flexible.
so
One thing, one,
so
one thing happened this week.
you said
One thing happened. I'm saying one thing happened this week with the AI and open source. I don't know if you have heard. So, are you familiar with MATLAB?
yeah, I know about MATLAB.
MATLAB. So, there is an AI that wanted to contribute to the MATLAB open
Oh,
source.
I saw
And
that
it,
thing. I saw that stuff. I saw it that they declined it.
yeah, they declined it, and then he wrote a blog. They were trying to diminish the person's work.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I think there's a lot of conversation to be had about the limitations and what it should be allowed to do and what it should not be allowed to do.
yeah.
But
But people are, I would say people are greedy. That's the problem. There are some conversations to be had about things like this, but because it's just about making more money or
yeah,
making sure that you beat every other person to get. It's just like a race. You want to get to the final destination so that you can be the boss of every other people. That's the exact thing that's happening now. So just they've not sat down to have conversations about AI safety, how it affects kids, how it's going to affect human lives, how it's going to affect like productivity, people that work, creativity. You get. So they
yeah.
didn't really do more discussion. There are research papers on it, but
I think it's there's a lot of things. We are probably still in the frontier of it. It was just yesterday that OpenAI was saying that the DeepSeek is stealing their is plagiarizing their work.
yes, yes,
So
something like that. So
so there's still a lot of
there's still a lot of
innovation
conversations.
and conversations that need to be had about it. And it is people that do this research building things that would really know how to solve those kind of problems that are going to emerging.
Yeah. So the thing about sorry, can you hear me?
I'm
So the thing about African society when it comes to engineering is that yeah, we do a lot of engineering, but probably not in like Africa, maybe abroad, and maybe pretend it kind of like that. But like in this kind of environment, we are more focused on working on things that make money. Or if you
yeah,
notice, the fintech space is quite big, so we are not actually innovating in a way.
yeah,
We are building on things that people have worked on and maybe converting it to our own thing. It's good though, but there's still some fundamentals that will still be missing. So if you notice, Chinese, sorry, can you hear me? Okay. So the things I can't see. Okay. Okay. Can you see me?
yeah. I'm so sorry. My network
So
is
uh the Chinese like the Chinese like China in general, they've learned over the years they've learned how to build fast. They have like the population by default, but then they also learn how to learn things like very well and build fast on them, right? So they've done that over the years and now they are very good at it. That's why they can move a whole building in a day, right? So they understand the fundamentals of how things work, and then they work so well that they can now move faster. That's not the same for African society. We don't learn fundamentals very well. We just want to move fast, scale fast, and make money.
That's true.
And
And
it's still going to bite. It's
yeah,
still coming back to bite us. I think. I
yeah,
think that's
even
what
those
I'm saying.
problems, it's just the people that understand the fundamentals that are able to pass.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's all I can say.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
very much for this conversation. It has been
yeah.
wonderful. Uh, it
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
took
I
time
was
to
very
share.
I was you said
Uh, yeah, thank you very much.
so yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Take care. Sorry, I can't hear the last thing you said. Oh, I wasn't that's bye.